if there's one thing I just cannot stand, it's a virtue signaler that's getting on their high horse. You know what I mean? It's like if you admit like, oh, I'm a racist, and all of a sudden you're like now an authority to like tell everybody else what to do. It's like, dude, if you're a racist, maybe you shouldn't tell me how to not be racist. You know what I mean? Like, because obviously you don't know. I'm not racist, so I'm qualified, I think. I think I'm qualified to tell other people how not to be racist because I've been not racist my entire life. But then you get these people, and they're always these woke warriors. You know what I'm talking about. They're these woke guys, and they're like, well, I'm a racist. And then they proceed to lecture you about how to not be racist. And what do the kids say these days? They're like, what is that thing where it's like, a player when game recognizes game. Yeah, game recognizes game. And I got to hand it to China. They got us on this one. This story was hilarious. There were some meetings last week in the United States and China where we're going toe-to-toe, and they're just disrespecting Biden every step of the way. Like last week, everyone was disrespecting Biden. You got to hand it to him. I thought that the comedy was going to go away for a little bit after Trump left because the one thing I did like about Trump is that it was just nonstop comedy all day long. Let me get this stupid thing off. Nonstop comedy. But the comedy is still here, guys. You gotta find the funny side of all this stuff. They're just disrespecting Biden constantly. So here's what happened. So at the UN meeting last week, the U.S. started getting. We got a virtue signaler put on her holy robes and was starting to talk about the racism of our country. Listen, this is too funny, man. This is too funny. So here's what this article says. This is on ABC News. Thomas Greenfield was unusually outspoken about the United States history, saying, quote, slavery is the original sin of America. It's like, where have you heard that before? Every woke pastor says that. It's the original sin of my religious system. And it's like, we all know that's just pagan nonsense. But, they're getting on their high horse. And she goes on. She says, what's this person's name? Oh, Linda Thompson. Yeah, there you go. So she gets on her high horse. It's weaved in white supremacy and black inferiority into our founding documents and principles. So you see, she's getting her bona fides, right? Like, we're racist. We're horrible. You imagine our ambassador gets into a high-level discussion with, like, our main competition, and their strategy is, well, I'm going to say how terrible we are, and that's how we're going to get the upper hand. We're racist. We're white supremacists, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. And so she goes on. So she takes that as a jumping off point, right? This is like the woke pastor that's like, I'm a racist. And they use that as the jumping off point to tell you what to do. So here's what the ambassador Linda says. She says, this is still going on today. In China, for example, where the government has committed genocide and crimes against humanity against the Uyghurs and members of other ethnic and religious minorities in Xinjiang. So you see the scam, right? So we're horrible, but it's going on even today in China. China's horrible too. And they got us on this one. The Chinese ambassador got us on this one. You got to hand it to him. Here's what the Chinese ambassador said. This guy's name is Dai Bing. He wasn't on the speakers list originally, but China owns things now, so they do whatever they want. So he took the floor at the end of the whole thing, and he said he rejected what he called the politically motivated U.S. allegation, calling it an act of rumor mongering through and through and a bare-faced lie. He accused the U.S. of interfering in China's internal affairs and said that lies are just lies and truth shall prevail eventually. And then he got this person on her virtue signaling tirade. He says this. He says, referring to Thomas Greenfield's speech about her African descent, Dai Bing said that the U.S. envoy, quote, in an exceptional case, admitted to her country's ignoble human rights record, but that does not give her the country the license to get on a high horse and tell other countries what to do. They got us on that one. That's true. Like, dude, if you're a racist and your country's so horrible when it comes to human rights, maybe you don't know what you're talking about. How do you like that? I mean, how can you argue? Your country is a human rights disaster, is what this Chinese guy is saying. He's like, your country, you admit your country is a human rights disaster. So, why are you telling us what to do? You don't even know what's what. You don't know what way is up, what way is down, that kind of thing. And it's just too funny because he's right. He's right. Like, you get these woke pastors, they're talking about how they're a racist, and then they're telling you how to not be racist. Like, dude, you don't even know how to not be racist. For yourself. Look at yourself. That's the thing. He goes on. He says, he got us on this one. I'll tell you right now, this Chinese ambassador, he says, I suggest, listen to this, I suggest that you take practical measures to put an end to a continued stream of incidents of discrimination and hatred and even savage murder of people of African and Asian descent that are ongoing. So he basically, what the ambassador from China is saying is, okay, you want to play stupid games? You're so terrible. Why don't you focus on yourself instead of focusing on what's going on over here, which you don't know the first thing about. Now, do we know the first thing about what's going on in China? Who knows? I don't even know if Joe Biden's real or not. He might be a hologram. But the thing is, like, the Chinese ambassador, this is an airtight case, right? Like, you're racist, so maybe you should stop telling us that we're racist because you actually have no idea what you're talking about, and you admit it. And I have the same message for woke pastors. It's like, dude, like, if you don't even know how to fix yourself and your own racism, if you don't even know how to not be racist yourself, how are you going to tell me not to be racist? I'm not racist, so I don't even grant you that. And the thing is, like, this, what's going on in China when it comes to the ethnic minority? I don't know what's going on in China. I mean, you know what I mean? So like, what do I know? But it's good stuff, man. See, when you play stupid games like this, eventually someone's going to call you out. And I gotta hand it to them. The Chinese got us on this one. They got us on this one, you know. We can't really get it. Just admitting that you're racist is not enough evidence that you know what you're talking about to get on your high horse and to start to tell me that I need to start paying up or this or that, doing this or that. Listen, I got a very easy plan, right? You ready for this one? Here's my very easy plan on how to not be racist. Ready? Just don't commit partiality. Don't hate your neighbor because they have a different skin tone as you. Don't think your neighbor is a certain way just because they have a certain skin color other than you. Like, that's just very simple. Just how's this? Don't be racist. There you go. You want to not be racist? Just stop being racist. I don't know. Seems like it makes sense to me, but who knows? Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. God bless. By the way, I'm not saying that China's innocent, obviously. They're probably less innocent than Cobra Commander. But, like, the point is, though, that, like, what's the Biden administration going to say, right? They just admitted that they're the worst people ever. How are you going to go lecturing everybody else, right? If Trump was in there, he'd be like, what are you talking about, systemic racism? There's no systemic racism here. You know, he'd cite all the data that obviously proves that that's a demonstrable false statement and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, it's Biden, so I guess we got to deal with it. And so, you know, what sucks about this is, like, you know, they got us, right? And so, like, we can continue to talk about the Uyghurs all we want, but they're right. Who are we to speak if we're like the worst people? We're killing Africans in the streets left and right is what they said, because that's what our ambassador said. We're the worst country in the world, apparently. So I don't buy any of that nonsense anyway, but hey, that's all I got to say.